the wonderful Kara and Nate.
How do you keep going? We truly, truly love it, or we wouldn't still be doing it. We'll go from skiing down a glacier, fearing my life, to like chilling at Eamon Bec's for the week.
If I'm not doing, I have this like nagging feeling that I'm wasting an opportunity.
We would have something really exciting planned, and I would almost be dreading it, but I had just finally, burned myself to the ground.
And she wasn't breathing. I mean, it literally just felt like she was dying.
My body, like, actually needs to slow down.
Do we have another year of this in us? And the answer was
Diarrhea.
Close. I literally peed my pants.
No.
when? Where?
We just can't not go there. The babes.
This is the right way to do things. This is the wrong way to do things.
I could be the world's best aunt.
I really am a hypocrite.
Why? Ooh, did we just crack something open?
You've asked and we've answered. Today's guest is by far the most requested episode, and we're so excited to share it.
Kara and Nate are full-time travelers and content creators with a community of over 4 million on YouTube alone. They've been traveling the world since 2016 and hit their 100th country by 2019.
Originally from Nashville, Kara and Nate are high school sweethearts who are the #1 travel YouTubers. From sleeping on the side of mountains in Peru to cruising the North Pole, running 100 miles, and searching for wild mountain gorillas in Uganda, they are truly some of the internet's most iconic travel vloggers.
But most importantly, they are some of our closest friends. In this episode, we unpack everything from how they've stayed so motivated over 8 years of full-time travel, how they navigate burnout, dealing with Kara's epilepsy journey, and, of course,
Are they joining us in this next chapter of parenthood?
We get them to spill the tea. Let's get to the root of Kara and Nate.
Boom, 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 boom. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
We've got our highly requested episode, the wonderful Kara and Nate.
Thanks for having us.
Feels about 10 times professional than the last time we recorded together.
Yes, seriously.
I think we were in a bedroom at my parents' house.
And
During the pandemic.
Were we really?
Yeah.
No, not
Via
y'all,
FaceTime.
But we
Oh,
were.
yeah. We did a remote thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Cool.
And we had never even met in real life.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, that is so
Really?
wild. Yes.
Wow.
This was like 2020.
Wait, we did a remote episode?
Yeah. Our podcast, we used to just like go for it.
Cool.
No, yeah.
Y'all have changed.
And now you.
Y'all have changed.
now you're
I
in a
miss the old
studio.
Eamon Bec. No, seriously, I was just saying to these guys, every time we ask you for podcast guest requests, I'm like excited to brainstorm with you, and 1,000% of you ask for Kara and Nate. And I know why, because they are inspirational. They are so much fun, and our friendship is one of the most important relationships I have in my life, genuinely. I feel so inspired by you guys, uplifted, supported, and just seen. I feel like it's rare in our weird world to feel so seen by people. So don't make me cry already. So yes, I love you guys. I know why the internet loves you and why the internet likes watching us all together, because it's really, really special. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks
It's
for
cool
being
to have
on
this
this.
random couple from Tennessee decide to live such a similar life as us. Because we kind of started at the same time, and it's rare to like have another couple that we just have so much in common with. I'll never forget the first time we met. We just blabbered till like 4 a.m. We couldn't go to bed because we had so
Right.
much to catch up on.
And we're still doing that.
And we're still going. Yeah.
I felt that way until I walked in the studio, and then I realized that y'all are at a new level.
No.
This is so but it's a compliment. This is so professional. Like everything going on behind the scenes here is amazing.
Thank you.
It's so good. Like, this is so legit. I'm a little intimidated.
Don't be.
But, like, so excited to hopefully capture our relationship and our friendship in this stage, because it is so special and hard to describe. I feel like there's no other friendship I have like with y'all. Truly. Gosh,
I feel the same.
are we 2 minutes in?
Yeah.
I don't know why the Kleenexes are over by Nate. He's not going to need them.
Nate's so casual, Karen. I remember, Nate, this text you sent before we'd even met, and you were going through like the skin cancer diagnosis and me the first breast cancer, and you wrote, I really feel we're meant to be friends for this season of life, or there's a reason that we're, and that's just encapsulates the whole thing. Like this season, it's just so important to have each other and to be uplifted by one another. I feel Bob once a week comes up to our unit from the basement, kind of huffing up the stairs, saying, how do your friends, Kara and Nate, do this? And every time I say, I don't know, but I'll ask them the next time I see them. So I just want to begin with, how do you keep going at the pace you're going with the adventures you're doing? 1 minute you're running 100 miles. The next you're surviving on an island. And I think it's become normal to you guys. What motivates you to keep going? How do you avoid just collapsing on the floor from burnout? Like, Bob's question is the question. There are many questions within it, but how do you guys do this?
What kind of tea do you drink in the morning? Like, what gets you going?
Man,
You're not even sure.
honestly, for many years, I would say, like, we just are obsessed with traveling and making videos. Like, we were so fueled, and I'm saying were because there's been a major shift in the last year and a half, but we couldn't imagine doing anything else. And it almost felt like, you know, like, tomorrow this could all go away. Like, YouTube is such a weird career to have. It's so unpredictable. And I'm sure there are other careers that are similar, but like, it's just always changing and you're always trying to keep up, but also enjoy what you're doing. And it's so strange to navigate, but
You've
like,
never really met your boss, so you don't know if it's gonna end.
Like,
no
how are
one's
we
telling you how to
doing?
succeed.
Yeah.
Like, everyone succeeds in a totally different way. And then it's like, but is it really about succeeding or is it about the travel? And yeah, so I feel like it was always like, each day was a gift, because it's like, tomorrow this could all change. Like, the algorithm could change, or I don't know, like, anything could happen. And something about that mystery of like, let's just ride this wave, like, until we can't anymore. And so we rode and rode and rode and rode and rode. And about a year and a half ago, you said something about like collapsing from burnout. That happened to me, like, very clear burnout. And it was a scary thing, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to share it with people, because I didn't want to be that person, you know, like.
Honestly, as your friend, when we sat together a few nights ago and you shared this with me, I felt so sorry that I hadn't seen that in you and been able to support you in that way. But I think that's what's so tricky sometimes about not physically being together, because it's not something you just feel comfortable calling someone and saying. I mean, I wish and I hope you know that I'm always there for that.
Sure.
But how do you pick up the phone and say, like, oh, I'm really struggling, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And in a way, it's like, I want to be so open and honest with, like, obviously people in my life, but also on our channel. But it was this new feeling to navigate, like, you know, here I am living this dream life that, like, you know, 2016 Kara, who was like only dreaming of this life, is not that far removed from 2024 Kara. Like, I can still feel who I was 9 years ago before this all started. And if you showed me my life now, then I wouldn't even believe you. Like, it's insane what we get to do. And we truly, truly love it, or we wouldn't still be doing it. But I had just finally, burned myself to the ground. Like, it was just too much. And I didn't know how to share that while living my dream life, because I knew it was. And, you know, if we're camping on a glacier, it's not really the time to be like, I'm struggling. You know, like, I never found the way to share it through all these amazing experiences we were having. And so, the way that we decided to navigate it in the moment was like, we should just take a week off of posting, which sounds so silly, but that was our way of like taking a step back, like taking 1 week off from posting in an entire year. Like, we post once a week and have for several years, and that felt like this major step in the right direction. I was like, wow, okay, we're gonna take a week off and I'm gonna be so much better after this. A week is not enough time, and we learned that. But, you know, we took a week off. We booked an Airbnb in our favorite state, Colorado, and I was like, we're not gonna work. I'm gonna work through this. And I would just like cry for no reason. And it's just so not like me to be like that. Like, I was just so confused. Like, why is this happening? I don't understand. But it was clear that we needed to slow down, even though it felt like, why? Like, why would we need to slow down? Like, we're doing all the things that we love to do. But that's what we've decided to do this year. And there's so much more to unpack there, but it has been the best thing that we've ever done.
I feel like you guys are in a really beautiful place of peace and knowing yourselves a little bit better and having that boundary or having that week per month where you can check in and just breathe a little, you know, take that nice exhale like Nate likes. And
And was part
It
of you
feels
like
good.
nervous, you know, people won't come back? Oh, who's Kara and Nate?
1 week.
I don't think it was that. I think it was more about like for 8 years in a row, we had just taken advantage of every opportunity that was out there, and like to slow down and cut back felt scary. Like to some extent, I think what kept me going for a long time was just like, let's see what we can turn it into. Like it's exciting to be growing.
Yeah.
And it's
How far
almost
will this
like
go?
sad to admit that like this might be the peak. Like something felt like depressing to me about that, like going backwards.
Because to be honest, you guys are so good at what you do that there's no way this has to be your peak. But if internally and in your hearts and with your energy, this is the peak for this, it's just the peak of YouTube, man. Like there's so much on the horizon. And yeah, I was saying in the sauna the other night, I feel so much gratitude to you, Nate, for the way you've shown up for Kara, because I feel like we're similar in so many ways. And we're similar in so many ways, but
So
the way I
true.
relate to you is in that sort of, not workaholism, but, you know, like when the potential is there, like, let's keep going, you know? And I say often, if our roles were reversed, I really hope in my heart I would have been as compassionate and understanding as Eamon was in that moment of just like, we never have to post again, you know? And your love for your partner is way stronger than your love for the potential of the next big job opportunity. So as friends of both of you, I'm just so grateful for the partner you are to Kara. And I want to go back to like that moment for you and understanding how you have come to terms with sort of taking that 1 week off and then slowing down a little bit more. Is it simply like the crisis of it all? Like we can't keep going, or?
Yeah, I think it took us getting to like a breaking point last summer. And I think it took me realizing that like I was burning out as well. Like I was trying to take on more and more of the work because I wanted to keep like posting the next video, do the next brand deal, go. And if you can't, then I'll do the extra work to like make sure we can. And then I just remember like one day, and we were taking a week off to just work, and you threw something else on my plate, and I was just like, I can't. And then when I said I can't, that like
Threw me into another spiral.
yeah,
I was very sensitive.
so there was like, unfortunately, like I don't think I learned easy, and so it had to come to a breaking point for something to change.
So how is
Wow,
the
this
year
is
going?
depressing.
No, I want to know. No, like let's get into how the year's going. How are you guys feeling? Like you told me you feel like you're never working, because it's just yeah.
No, it's been like we decided to take 1 week off a month. Like last summer, we actually just took 1 week off total. And then this year, our big change was like we're posting 3 times a month, no matter what. And it felt a little scary for sure, but I was so excited to just see what that felt like. And we felt really good about it with everything that had happened. And it feels like we're doing like a quarter of the work than we were before. Like something about that 1 extra week. I don't know what it is.
It's still insane. And I want to paint a picture, like if people don't know your content, you know, it's one thing to like make a vlog in your living room, you know, 3 times a month. But you guys are very much like adventure filled style content. So it's like you go and do something and fly around the world to make a video. So that's like a whole other level.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is keeping, like, how do you define success is, I guess, what I'm trying to understand. is like you guys have, how many videos have you posted?
Almost 1,000.
Wow.
Yes.
You guys are nearing 4 million subscribers. I'm checking all
And
your
they're not
stats
small
today.
videos. Their videos are like an hour long now
These
sometimes.
amazing. Like literally, I was just doing a little scroll. I'm like, our friends are so cool. Like, can you believe this stuff?
It is nuts.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you're
wild. I
literally
feel the
going on
same.
Monday to go and live with polar bears?
They do keep getting bigger. I
Yes.
think as we've cut back on the amount that we're posting, somehow they get longer.
Well, I feel like I'm actually proud of that. I mean, I'm sorry, our editors, all of you. I love
Poor
you.
editors. Let's
We-
give Brooke a shout out.
Love it, Brooke.
My girl.
Brooke, if you ever want an easier job, come on.
When we first started making YouTube videos, we were so inspired by all the daily vloggers on YouTube. Casey Neistat was my idol. He's the only reason we bought a camera. Like, we did not think we were going to be YouTubers, and we were so passionate about just traveling. That was all that mattered. And the camera just came with us. It didn't affect anything that we did. I think it enhanced our lives a lot. Like, we did a lot more fun things that we probably would have just slept through or whatever, because it was like, oh, we got to make a vlog today. But making a vlog meant, like, we have to do laundry today, and then we're going to get a coffee, and then we're going to get street food. And that was it. And it was like 6 minutes long. And it was daily, because that's all it was. And we never went out of our way to do it. And then as the travel became more normalized to us, like, you know, just bouncing around the world, like, wasn't that crazy anymore. We got more interested in, like, the storytelling part of making a video for the first time. Like, we never viewed ourselves as creative people. We definitely didn't call ourselves, like, videographers or, like, creators. Like, I don't even think influencer was a word back in 2017, 2016. But it was kind of funny how, like, it was a slow shift, but it became more about, like, what will make a great video and less about just our personal interest, which kind of sounds sad, but, like, that was kind of our new fuel, you know? Like, it kind of kept it interesting. I think if we weren't making videos, we would have done that year of travel and been like, great, and then kind of slip back into our lives the way we were before, and I'm sure it would have been great. But that was how we evolved, and that's kind of what kept us going. And I feel like we've really just leaned into that now. Like, the last few years when we were feeling a little more burned out, we started making our content a lot more just separated from our personal lives. And it really wasn't intentional. Like, truly, I have no interest in just filming our daily life. It doesn't excite me to do that. Maybe one day it will, but we have to be doing something that gets me so amped in order to get excited to make a video, because it's so consuming when we have our cameras and we're trying to capture an experience. Like, it's kind of all we're thinking about. Like, we're there in the moment and enjoying it, obviously, but it's very much like, today we're making a video. Like, that's the goal. And then
Have you guys ever done an adventure and not filmed it? Like something that would be a good video, but just decided not to film it?
We are supported by HelloFresh, and I could not be more excited to talk about HelloFresh today.
Delicious.
They entered my life, and I didn't know how badly I needed them. I was in such a cooking rut. I hated making decisions about what we were going to eat, and then the whole time it took to
Buy the ingredients, cook the meal, think about how many portions you need.
the whole thing. And leftovers, as much as everyone seems to love leftovers, they just don't seem to be my thing. So
They're not her thing. She does not eat leftovers. It's kind of bougie. Like, you're not really
I
high
know,
maintenance like
I'm not-
that,
I know.
but you don't like leftovers.
I really have this thing with leftovers. So last week, Frankie, your mom, and I are all hanging out, and we're like, it's definitely lunchtime. I go into the fridge. We have the falafel wrap kit there, chef inspired. So they come up with these little twists on things. I was pickling jalapenos as I was frying everything. They had this beautiful flatbread, and I just felt genuinely inspired. Your mom kept being like, this is amazing.
Was she
What's
impressed?
your code? She literally wants to go to HelloFresh. It
You
was
got a date
amazing.
night? Impress her friends with HelloFresh.
The other day, even, I just want to expand on how much I love them. Kara and Nate were over. It's their episode.
Oh, the lentil nachos.
The lentil nachos. Again, something we would make, but it just made it so easy.
It had
And
this
then
like
there's-
nice zesty chipotle flavor.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
great.
spin on everything.
Yeah.
And as people who love food, I've been very impressed with HelloFresh. So let me read you our HelloFresh order, because I know you're like, okay, just tell us how to get HelloFresh. You can get 10 free meals when you go to HelloFresh.com.
Really?
10 free meals.
Wow. That's a good deal.
Go to HelloFresh.com/free Reroot. So this is applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only, and varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to hellofresh.com/free reroot.
Guys, that's a no-brainer.
Don't
Hit them
sleep
up.
on HelloFresh.
Peace.
We've been like doing little things here and there lately. Like now that we only post 3 times a month, we like go on little tours and we don't bring a camera and we're like, are we like on vacation right now? Like,
We went on like a food tour the other day, and then we went to like a coffee farm, and those are all things that in the past we definitely would have
Yeah.
filmed.
For
Yes.
sure.
And it was like, wow, we're just like traveling for the fun of it again.
Isn't it kind of a weird thing though?
it's so weird.
It's hard to turn off.
Yeah.
Right? And that was a big adjustment for us. Is like, you know, and I still like go to take videos. I don't even know why. I don't post anything on Instagram, but I'm always.
Yes.
It's just like a reflex.
It's like this should be captured.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even you saying like you were filming some stuff this week, like for the memes.
For the
It's like,
memes.
you can't not, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of been my new thing. It's like I'm actually trying to like turn that off whenever we're not like making a full on YouTube video. But it's like I want to remember, and like I actually have a really terrible memory. And so taking a photo like really helps me.
Of course, yeah.
So I've started telling Nate like it's just for the memes. Like you don't have to like, you know, pose or anything, just for the memes.
That's what she says every time, and then she posts it.
Sometimes it's
See,
really
they're
cute.
the
I have to
same.
post it.
I'm like, yeah, we're not even like creators anymore, and Eamon's just secretly filming all these things, and oh gosh. No, but I know it is creative work, and it's because it's in your heart to just be creative and to capture the moment, and it's great.
I want to go back to my original question.
Oh,
How do
sorry.
you define? No, it's okay. But I'm really curious, like how you guys define success, because I think on paper you're like success for most people's here, and you're like already up here. And I think
Well, I think that's like that. The lower one was the definition of success, and then we hit that, and then you want to see what's next.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we know.
yeah, you're
And-
just it is a weird thing because people would say that like you make your first million,
Yeah.
and then you just realize that it's not as fulfilling and secure as
Yeah.
you think it's gonna be, and then boom, what's next after that?
Yeah. And so I think it's just maybe more of a curiosity of like what's left out there. You know,
Just
like
the possibilities. It's like, oh, well, if we keep going, then you know, like the things that get unlocked.
Yeah.
Like
like we just got invited to go to the South Pole.
it's just
Last and it's in a month, and it in our wildest dreams 2016 2017 Kara could have never dreamed of that, and like had we not have kept going from here,
Yeah.
that would have never been an opportunity. So it's like if we do keep going, like what other opportunities does that unlock? That I didn't even know that flying to the South Pole was something people could do.
literally had no idea.
See, that's not even as exciting as True Kitchen sending you a $1,500 gift.
Right. Shout out True
Per
Food
quarter.
Kitchen.
Shout out True Food Kitchen, and please, like we're over here as well. We will use that.
I literally tagged them in an Instagram story because we crashed a wedding in Las Vegas with these guys, and the noodles were just so good. It blew my mind. And I was like, Instagram, True Food Kitchen, you're the best. They sent us gift cards for $1,500
$1,500. That's not a little
month.
gift card.
And I don't even know where they are. Like, we got to find some so we can spend these gift cards.
Yeah, we got to figure out. Are they in Toronto?
Well, we'll
That's
fly to
I
you
agree.
and we'll have a
Equally as
big
excited
binge.
as the South Pole for those.
Yeah, me too. Penguins, True Food Kitchen.
Right.
Well, because there's so many like avenues I want to take this,
know.
because I think what you just said there is that having this crazy, crazy life maybe makes you crave some normalcy. So like going to True Food
Oh,
Kitchen,
yeah.
like doing these more normal days,
Yeah.
you know? So how do you slot those in? Where are you feeling excited to spend your time when you're not making the epic video?
Yeah, yeah. A theme that we've discovered, like this year, I think, is really when we've discovered it, is like, I guess it's kind of like contrast therapy, like getting in a cold plunge and then getting in a sauna. Like the satisfaction that you get from going from one to the next is very similar to how we live our lives. Like we'll go from, you know, skiing down a glacier, fearing my life, to like chilling at Eamon Bec's for the week, hanging out with Frankie and Oso. Like,
Rate the two experiences.
I mean,
which
this
was
would be
better.
special
I'm
no
just-
matter
Yeah.
what. We don't even have to go do anything crazy to come enjoy this life with you. But I guess a better example is like we tend to book an Airbnb or a hotel or something in between big trips, but it's like just waking up and not having to like do my makeup and walking to get a coffee is like the best day because I'm not fearing my life next to a polar bear. Like that is so exciting and I can't wait to do that. But it makes just the normal days like, wow, it's so restful. And no one's sticking a camera in my face. And I come to really enjoy those too, but it's only because of the extreme on the other end.
Yeah.
And I think we're obsessed with that. And like when we got into these physical challenges, like during 2020 COVID, like we started challenging our bodies physically and we were like, whoa, like 1 minute I'd think like I can't go on. And as soon as you finish, it's like you're on this high. And we had never experienced that before. But if you look back over our last 9 years, like we've kind of been doing that the whole time. And we just didn't know how to like say it.
Yeah, we were talking about that on our walk, Nate, the other day. But like now you've done this Leadville 100, which is 100 miles with elevation, if anybody doesn't know. Mind-blowing thing to even say out loud. And I was like, well, could you even imagine yourself doing this? And you said no. But like starting these challenges, you just keep pushing this envelope further and further. And if you didn't do the, what's it called? 29029, which is basically walking or hiking up a ski slope.
Yeah, it's the elevation of Mount Everest, but you do it over the course of hiking up a ski slope 17 times in this case. So you hike up, ride the gondola down, hike up until you hit 29,000 feet. Yeah, took us 28 hours, I think.
And so that at that point was the hardest thing you ever done. And then you leave that and you're just like, what's next, baby?
Yeah, I think it just, it expands your comfort zone, which opens your mind up to new possibilities.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm still chasing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I could have never imagined that I would be doing these specific things 5 years ago. And if I continue to push the comfort zone and open it up, like what does the next 5 years look like? And I think that's what keeps me excited.
Love that.
So I guess my thing I'd like to unfold is figuring out how much of that is a personal accomplishment versus something that would make a great video, because it's kind of, you've got your foot in both camps there.
Yeah, I think our lives are so intertwined with the YouTube channel that sometimes it is hard to distinguish why we're doing a certain thing. Like, do I really want to do this, or do I think it'll make a good YouTube video? I think I don't give myself a hard time for that. Like, I don't judge it. Like, YouTube is work, and if it makes a good video, great. Like, even if it might not be the top thing that I want to do. But ultimately, I think it all boils down to, when I look back on my life, am I going to be sad that I did any of these things? And so far, the answer has been no. Like, I'm so glad. Like, even though I might not feel like going from filming one thing and then running to the next, you know, like from one video to whatever the next one is, it's like, oh, I'm a little tired. Don't actually want to pick up the camera today and start this. As soon as it's over, I'm grateful for the experience and to have that memory to look back on for the rest of my life. And I think that's been the case since day one. Like, when we were doing daily videos for the first year, like Kara was saying, it was like, there were probably half the days where if we were just two people who were traveling around the world, we would have like hung out at the hostel or the Airbnb that we were staying in.
Right, at
just
the
like,
beach. Like, I thought we were going to have so many beach days when we were in Southeast Asia, and I think we went like 3 times.
But it's like, that didn't make an interesting video, so we needed to find something, like go find a random waterfall or something just to like make content that day. But looking back, that year was so much more interesting, and we made so many more memories because the camera forced us to get out and do something interesting every day. And I think that's still carrying over into this part of our life. It's just not daily. It's just like making sure that 3 times a month we go out and do something incredible.
I think that's so true. And you told me once, you got up, you went for a cold plunge and came back in the room at like 6 a.m. I'm like, what's going on today? He's heard this great quote. You should always live your day like the camera is following you and you're making a video. And the way it inspired him was, well, I'm not going to get groggy out of bed or whatever, the camera's on. You
like
guys quite
as if a
literally
documentary is following you.
Yeah, like
How do you want your documentary to look?
Yeah.
like you're this epic dude that does a cold plunge.
Drag your ass out of bed? Nah, bro.
Yeah.
So quite literally, you've done that. And I think there's nothing wrong with having the the blurred line, especially when you're starting to set boundaries of like, okay, we do have some downtime, right? Like you can't every day film. You do have to rest. But I think it's fantastic.
I love that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just came up with that.
No, you
I
didn't.
think-
Did you?
No.
You lived like that for literally one day as well. This is Eamon hot and cold. He's like, I plunge every morning. The camera's following me.
I need
And
like a
then
tattoo on the back of my hand. Like what's the documentary?
his solution to everything is he needs a tattoo as well. Like I need another tattoo.
But I think
Short-term
that's
memory.
like the short version of the quote that's probably a lot more popular, which is like, if there was a if there was a book written about your life,
Yeah.
what would you want it to be? So that's like the long-term version of thinking, and the documentary is like the daily version of thinking about it. But I think about that a lot. Like, what's a more interesting way to take this next season of our life? Like, if there was a book being written about my life, what would be an interesting next chapter?
Yeah, I do think about that. But I think that is when you break it down into micro, it's like your life is just a bunch of days. So you need to start with little things, right? Because people could dream of this grand book of, you know,
That's easy to put off.
philanthropy. Exactly. It's like, no, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, no, like start today.
Let's go back to running 100 miles because you got to fill me in on it, and I'm always so proud of you, Nate. I just love you both so much. But I respect so much how you can just do hard things. Like there's just this obvious switch that you can tap into. But I feel like if I were to set a challenge for you that I think might tweak the switch and be hard to like keep it turned on, it might be running 100 miles in elevation.
I think I thought the same thing too, which is why I was excited to do it.
I think
I'm
it's harder for Nate to like do a daily podcast talking about his feelings.
For sure it would be.
You could run 1,000 miles.
So true.
That or taking dance lessons. Like if we were truly doing the hard things for me.
Or if we, just the rest of the podcast, we don't say anything and you just had to dance for an hour.
My worst nightmare.
That would be so fun.
I'll leave and run 100 miles right now.
Yeah.
What was the question?
I just want to go back to the 100 miles. Like you also thought it might break you. Did
Yeah.
it break you?
No.
Amazing.
I mean, my knee is actually still slightly broken. So physically a little bit, it broke me. But I think, I don't know. I think I'm just like trying to find, I still haven't like hit the wall of what I'm capable of. And it's exciting to see what's still out there.
Wow. And what is out there?
But I do think,
The Moab
This guy is
240.
nuts.
This guy is nuts.
I do think it's exciting because like as you push yourself to do these things like 29, you realize that you're capable of more, and that opens you up to just more interesting things and like things that maybe you wouldn't have considered before. Like I heard about the Leadville 100 5 years ago. At that point, it sounded like this completely crazy thing. Like I didn't know people ran 100 miles until 5 years ago. And then you hear that and then it plants a little seed, but it's like, if you're thinking about this like comfort zone analogy, like my comfort zone was here and running 100 miles was like here. And that was too far of a jump for me to be able to mentally make that connection that maybe I could do that. But as we continued to do these hard things, the comfort zone expanded, and you can do things that are this far outside of your comfort zone, but maybe you can't do things that are this far outside of your comfort zone. And so I think like,
Until you unlock.
yeah,
that
exactly.
bigger-
As it gets bigger and you get closer to those things that are like, think of them as like stars sitting out there. And I just think like life is so much more fun with all these other possibilities.
Totally. So someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, how do I take the first step? Your suggestion is try the thing that's the least outside the comfort zone, but that still makes you uncomfortable, and start expanding.
Yeah, and I think that builds confidence too, because I think a big part of me running 100 miles this summer versus I think there are so many people out there that are way better runners than I am. Like I don't think I'm special from like a runner standpoint at all. But I just think I have the confidence because of like trying past things and succeeding that I'm willing to just throw myself into it and try. And so I think most people just aren't willing to like throw themselves into enough things. But I think as you continue to throw yourself into things and you succeed, you build this confidence that then just kind of like snowballs.
Totally.
You
This feels
also have
very
a
arrogant.
very inspirational level of discipline. Like seeing you, I don't know, you were in Antarctica or whatever, and yet you were training for something. I don't even think this was the 100.
No,
I
I
don't
wasn't
think
even
he was
training.
See,
There
that's
was no
even
reason
more
for
chaos.
this.
And he's in these big chunky boots, and he's like, "No, Kara, I gotta do a run." And he's running around the
In the snow, at the North Pole.
Yeah, like the ship stopped to let people take photos.
And he's running.
And you're doing a little.
No one told him he needed to do this. Was it 100 miles over the course of the whole cruise?
Yeah.
He ran 100 miles on that boat.
In snow boots.
And finished at the North
Not
Pole.
always.
Just the 1
Some on
mile
the
at the
treadmill.
North Pole.
Just because
So
he wanted
crazy.
to. But this goes
Amazing.
back to before anyone knew Nate's name, before we were ever on the internet, he would do stuff like this. And
That's interesting.
I was really drawn to that. Like, for 1 month, for no reason whatsoever, he decided he was going to start every day with a cold shower. And this was before, like,
This was pre
what's his
Wim
name?
Hof.
Wim Hof. Like, nobody knew who he was yet.
Where did you come up with this idea?
I think I was reading blogs. Somebody else was doing it.
But, like, why?
Yeah, but why not?
Why not? Like, now
No, but let's
I'm
figure
there
out why.
now.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Like, you have like obviously something you're trying to prove to
Something
yourself.
broken. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely, I don't know.
It could just be the genuine curiosity and zest for this big book you're talking about. Like, you just know that you've got this one life. It could be the most beautiful thing ever. It doesn't have to be that you're broken. That you're just willing to go for it, and that you have a partner who is drawn to that, who's kind of like, one of my favorite characteristics of you, or personality traits, is you could be in Hyde Park just on a walk with me and you're like, this is the best day ever. So you found this partner who's like, yeah, let's do cold showers
You know how
every
many
day.
times I've heard Kara say this is the best food ever?
Oh,
Kara was
People
like,
give me a really
best.
hard time for that.
why?
No.
It really is true, though.
No, it's
Yeah.
the best. You're the best. Like, your
Thank
enthusiasm. And then that's so contagious. Like, I want to just think that's the best because, wow,
Yeah.
all we have is right now and today. So if you're enjoying that meal, you're doing it right, sis.
I love you.
I love you more.
Thank you.
I know I do. I really do.
Kara was like, isn't Hyde Park amazing? I was like, kind of looks like Tennessee.
Did. I was like, but it's so big and the fall leaves are changing. He's like, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Just really settling in
Yeah,
here.
get in. Okay,
But
so
I
Hyde Park's
put that like in our wedding vows. Like, she's been like that forever. And and like, we each wrote our own vowels, and I said something along the lines of like hoping that each sunset she sees continues to be her favorite, or something like that.
That's
Because she's always been that
beautiful.
way.
Oh,
But I like credit so much of that to our success, and to me being able to like do the. Oh, to be fair, we do almost all of these big physical challenges together, like that really focused on me. But I think the 100-mile race is the only thing you've set out.
Oh, I was there, though.
yeah.
By the end, I was like, go me. I made it.
I'm not gonna lie, it's
I
my favorite part of the
survived.
video is like you'll be out running and something, Kara would be like trying to navigate the van while making peanut butter sandwiches. I'm like, this is the
100%.
content.
I knew me running wasn't going to be interesting,
Yeah.
and I wanted the crew to be
Yeah.
the focus of the
Yeah, yeah.
video.
I'm glad I delivered on
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, you
Always.
always
The dead
do.
battery right at the beginning, that
Always.
was key.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you planted that. Did you kill our battery for the content?
Good idea, though.
Maybe.
But having a supportive partner who lets me pursue all of these crazy ideas and encourages them.
And does them, like you said.
Yeah.
Completes them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's badass.
With zest.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so this is one way I think 2016, 2017 Kara and Nate that we've talked about a few times has changed. I want to understand what beliefs or things about those two people you think have changed and why by visiting 100 countries, being exposed to so many cultures. Like, these are things that we always talk about, these blinders. And so before we traveled, we understood our little world, you know. It's like, okay, this makes sense, whatever. And then as you travel, you're like, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden you're just like, wow. For me, it's like the empath in me just understands people so much better, and why they might feel that that's the best way to do something, or, you know. So what would 2016, 17 Kara and Nate be like, sort of this about, and how do you feel like it's changed visiting? Or how many countries have you been to now?
9.
Ooh.
So only 9 since the
I know.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's actually crazy.
Yeah. Pandemic. We'll blame
Yeah,
we'll blame
pandemic
COVID.
happened, and then yeah, I think we felt this like freedom to like go back to places we had been before.
Yes, and
It's
actually
like we're not on this
go.
like sprint like we were before. But I just want to make it known that before we left for our 1-year trip in 2016, that's turned into the last 9 years. My favorite food was chicken nuggets. Fettuccine Alfredo if I was feeling really crazy. But like those were my meals of choice when we went to a restaurant. Like I rated everyone's chicken nuggets or chicken fingers, like whatever it was. So like obviously my palate has expanded. I know that sounds like really small.
No, that's huge.
But like when I meet people who are just like so closed to like foreign foods, like for me it wasn't even foreign foods, it was just even American foods. Like I only ate those 2 things, which is so crazy. It's like I almost don't believe it, but it's true. Like that was me.
That was you when we met when you were 16. I think by the time we left to go travel, you were a little more open.
A tiny bit.
When we met, the only thing she ordered at restaurants was chicken tenders. But I think like this goes back to the conversation that we were having earlier, which is like, as I would order and encourage you to try new things, you were completely on board and open to it and excited about it.
Oh, Nate.
I do.
I never thought about that. You actually expanded my palate.
For me, I think the world is much more gray instead of black and white. Like before we left to go travel, I felt like I think we both thought we were pretty open-minded by the time we left to go travel because we had been to like 10 countries and
we thought we were big travelers and we're so open. And even watching some of our early videos, we're like we thought we were open-minded back then. Like that is hilarious.
But you were. It's like that expansion thing we're talking about. Like you were more open-minded than you had been. So wow, way to go. And then the blinders just keep expanding.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
A little at a time.
But I think I still had a pretty black and white view of the world. Like this is the way that should be, like things should be. This is the right way to do things. This is the wrong way to do things. And I think as we've traveled and been exposed to way more things, I realized like actually like things can be done this way. Things can be done this way. And I think I have so much more empathy for people because you do just realize that like people are coming from so many different places that I rarely feel like I want to like judge somebody for something because you like I think just meeting people from so many different backgrounds, like everybody has a reason of why they think a certain way. So maybe I don't agree with the way that they think, but I think I have like empathy for why they might feel that way.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we're all just human beings. And
We're so alike.
We're all one. We just care about our family. We want to help our family. We want to spread love. We want to have clean water. We want to have.
We all want the same things.
You know?
And you really, it's crazy how much you don't realize that until you've seen it. Until you've walked the streets of another country and you realize like we're literally the same. Like different cultures and languages and foods and things are beautiful and I love embracing that too. But like at our cores, we have so much in common with the entire world and it's so beautiful. Like I truly think if everyone could travel a bit, like the world would just be so much better. Truly.
like we think we're all so different and yet at the core, like you were saying, all the same. So wise, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll
Get a
be here
tattoo
all
about
night.
it. Yeah.
Get a tattoo.
I think it's also true that you travel to these other countries that don't have as much as we do, like in North America. And I think when we first would visit countries like that, I would feel sad. And then the more time you spend in a lot of those countries, like this is more of like the black and white, like it was like the more money you have, like the better off you are, was like a kind of a black and white view that I had before we left to go travel to some extent. And then you meet people who are, I mean, just truly living in poverty, but also I'm not sure that most of the people that I know are any happier than those people. And, you know, like at the end of each of those person's life, like what's more important?
Totally.
And so all this travel, you guys have zipped around the world many times, been to some really less wealthy countries and neighborhoods. correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never really had that much go missing or bad things happen to you.
We've never had
No.
anything stolen.
I think
No.
that's like would blow people's mind, right? Because a lot of people think you go to Brazil, you go to Mexico, you go to these places, and it's like, you know, crime everywhere.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are aware, you know, of the prime spots that people usually warn you about, but we really have always tried not to just take that too seriously to the point where we're fearful. But, you know, we're just aware. Like, I don't let my phone stick out of my pocket, or like I'll leave like my bag at home.
We were
like,
talking about this.
like there's just little things that like little tiny changes that where you can just go out and not have to worry as much.
You're not the target.
Get this take. Bec is now so aligned with who she is and such high energy that she purposely
No.
leaves her phone out because she knows it won't get stolen.
Okay, that's not exactly true.
Yes.
I used to live in fear. In the stroller for Frankie, there's a little cup holder, and then you can put your phone in there.
Yeah.
You've seen it on
Yeah.
our High Park walks that you love. So I just
You
put,
remember where the bottle was in there and it smashed in the middle of the road?
Mm-hmm.
so I just put my phone there, and Eamon's like, "That is like someone's gonna come and pickpocket that." And I was like, "Bro, easy. Stop being in fear." So he thinks I'm a hippie now
It's
because
pretty
I
dope.
put my phone
Actually,
there.
after my week long, I'm kind of buying in. I'm kind of like,
I love that. And I really do think, yeah, living in fear, like almost like attracts
yes.
bad
course.
things.
100%.
I don't know why.
Yes.
Well, it's energy.
And maybe that's our secret. Like, I feel like we haven't ever really, like, I guess awareness is the biggest thing, but not fear.
Mm-hmm.
And even like getting our bags lost, like we have checked our bags weekly, if not bi-weekly, every week since 2016. And I think our bags have gone missing twice,
Well, they went missing
I
on their
think-
way here.
3 times. All 3 times they came back to us within
Yeah.
24 hours.
And we're delivered.
at the front door.
No big deal.
And I feel like that's one of like the first things people say. They're like, how many times have you lost your bags? Like, it's just immediate like
Fear.
fear. It's not
Fear,
like,
fear, fear.
you know, what's the most amazing thing that's ever happened? It's like why is that the first thing you
Tell
think
me
about?
what's
And
Because you're addicted.
that's not how our brains usually work. And I'm very thankful that that's just how we're wired, I guess. But I think everyone can get there
Totally.
if they tried.
I do think I want to caveat that if we are going to be like in a big city, I will try to keep my phone in a zip pocket, and I will be very aware of my surroundings.
sure.
Like,
Do you think you have a pretty good gut reader? Like, have you been in a
Definitely.
situation where you're like, Kara, let's get out of this?
So many times. He does have like a sixth sense about that.
Yeah.
Or it goes back to the awareness. Like, I'm just like at a market, like, wow, look how cute this bag is. And Nate's like, you know, looking
That guy's
around.
been following us for 3 blocks.
That's exactly what happened. And at one point, he like pulls me in this market like door and like didn't say anything. I was like, what is happening? Watched these guys go past, and he was like, okay, we're going this way now. And so like maybe if I was on my own, it'd be a totally different thing.
but that was pretty
dog.
sketch. Like, we got followed by like 5 guys like down an alley, pulled into like a store, and then like they were hanging out in the corner. We went in, they followed in behind, and then we kind of like made our way back to the more populated area, kind of far away, but to where I could still see the corner. And I was like, let's just chill here to see if those guys like come right back to the corner. Or maybe I was just like blowing it out of proportion. They just happened to be going the same way.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like they made their way right back to the corner.
Yeah.
So I think we've like avoided things by being aware, but I do think a huge takeaway should be like 99% of the world is good.
Yeah.
And I think
And- Sorry.
go ahead.
It can happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We watch our local news back where we're from in Tennessee, and it's like, wow, that looks pretty scary. Like, wouldn't want to go there. But, you know, you look at it anywhere else, and it's this big, fearful thing, but it's everywhere.
Totally.
But there's way more good than bad everywhere. It's crazy. What were you going to say?
Don't know.
I want to circle back to burnout and this chapter that's coming up for you guys, and how you've navigated it, how you've slowed down. Okay, one video is one thing, but what else have you guys done to take like steps towards better mental health and things like that? Or I guess the question really is, do you feel like long-term full-time travel, I know you keep count of how many beds you sleep in per year, these kind of things could work for some people forever? Or do you think there just comes a time where you're like, hey, I'd like a little more stability. I'd like to just not unpack my suitcase all the time.
Yeah.
I think I thought it could work forever for a while, but I'm being proven wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've always known this wasn't going to last forever because, like I said, like this YouTube world is ever changing. And I just, especially once I started experiencing burnout, realized like, okay, this isn't going to be our life forever. But in a way, I think that gave us a second wind of like, okay, we might be winding down soon. Like, let's, when I say winding down, I mean just like slowly. Not just like, I don't think we'll ever just stop. Oh, I guess I'll never say never. Anything can happen. But
I don't know. I liked the idea of the mic drop. Like we're achieving like millions of views on our videos. It's just all up from here. And like, guys, it's just
Close.
time.
Casey Neistat stuff.
Put it behind a paywall. That worked well for you.
golly. Nightmares. Yeah, the second wind I feel like has been kind of funny, but like I've been very protective of myself this year where like if I feel stress creeping in, like Nate is so good. He can see it in my face. Like I won't even realize that I'm stressing about something. But, like he can see when I'm like on my computer and I'm like, you know, doing stuff like this and he'll just be like, take a deep breath. Whatever you're doing, just chill out. And that's something I've never done before. You know, like it was like, this just needs to get done. And there's nothing, there's no time to deal with any of my issues. And we've really, really, like, I'm actually really proud of how we've managed that this year.
Yeah, I think one thing that we haven't touched on yet is like the epilepsy journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's been one of the big shifts for us this year. Like I was saying earlier, I think it takes something like really like smacking me in the face to for me to make a change. But I think
You're okay to be a crazy psycho on this path, but
I'm dragging her along.
But
with
she
me
is starting to
to break down.
Yeah.
That was kind of a joke. Yeah, so I think it was actually at the end of last year. So basically we kind of just like go hard throughout the year, and it's like we're going so fast that there's no time to really think big picture.
Yeah.
It's just like we're going to the next place, got to get the next video out, and like historically we've done that for the whole year, and then we usually try to take a few weeks off at the end of every year, and then that's when we make a plan for the next year. And so we got to the end of last year having posted weekly videos and traveled to a bunch of countries and all the things, and basically every year at the end of the year we've looked at each other and we're like, do we still have this in us? And
While filming a video.
yeah, pretty much. There's like a lot of like thought behind
Those
the
are my favorite
scenes
videos, by the way.
before
your updates are great.
Yeah,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Aw.
those are fun to film.
There's something about just like you not traveling the world and sitting in a hotel room that's like really interesting and cool.
Yes.
Just like I think people are there for you. You know, of course the adventures are fun, but we've talked about this a lot. Like the scenes that get the most comments are like us just brushing our teeth in the van.
Yeah.
You know, we attach a lot of weight to, we need to fly to a new country. But at the end of the day, people love Kara and people love Nate. So sorry to cut you off, but
at the end of last year was the first time that we looked at each other and be like, do we have another year of this in us? And the answer was no. And I think that was pretty, this is going to be a big word, but I think I'm using it the right way. Fortuitous. Is that so?
Nice
we had
one.
already decided to
Smart Andrew's giving the thumbs up, so you did it
very
right.
good. I
you
just couldn't
spell
think
it?
of another word. No, definitely not.
Spelling
Can
bee.
you spelling bee master?
fortuitous. FORTUI.
You were so close, I feel like.
TIOUS.
Close.
I
We'll
think
fact
you could
check
be
that
right, I
later.
don't know.
No, I think that's
So we had already decided that we were going to slow down a little bit because, as we talked about at the beginning, we were both feeling burnout, and it felt like it's time to take a little bit of a step back. Like that's what we need to make it. It kind of felt like we could do one more year of that, and then it would for sure just be over because we had just like burn ourselves all the way down to the ground, or we could think about.
I love how you're thinking in years. Like if Beck and I ever had these conversations, we're like, can we make a video next week? You guys are so much more planned than us.
it's beautiful.
We don't have a baby yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
We'll get into that.
Oh, it just definitely derailed the whole conversation.
No, I want to keep going on this one.
So we had already decided that we were going to slow down. And then literally the first week of the year, Kara has her big seizure. And so it was nice that like we had planned for taking a break and slowing down. And we had, I think it would have been hard if we would have like already agreed to all of these brand deals, told our audience that we were going to post a new video every single week. And then the seizure would have happened and then we would have had to go change everything. But that almost like fit into our plans. And also, I mean, it wasn't a good thing, but if we're looking for a silver lining, it definitely told us that we had made the right decision. Like how we were feeling was
valid almost.
Yeah,
like,
I guess
really
like
your
it's like
bodies were telling you.
Yeah, because I think there was a question of like, are we being lazy by cutting back? Should we be working harder to take advantage of this opportunity? And then we made the decision to cut back, and then it was quickly validated.
Are you comfortable going into some details of that event? Because, I mean, I feel like we can relate so much of like being a support person in our relationship this last year. But I think it's very different situations that like Bec's cancer was something that like
Bec's body's cancer.
Or her old cancer, her old body deciding to make cancer was very much like a slow process of like going to get checks and talking to doctors and, you know, finally getting a diagnosis. But to wake up in a bedroom with your wife, you know, having what you think is a seizure, like I just can't even imagine how traumatic that is.
Well, but it wasn't even like, I think she's having a seizure because she's never had a seizure before.
Right.
We didn't know she had epilepsy before. It was just like,
what's happening? And she wasn't breathing. I mean, it literally just felt like she was dying. Are you like shaking her and saying like what?
Yeah. But she's like, she's also not breathing, but she's also like, I felt like she was dying for that time. And yeah, trying to shake her and wake up. But it lasted long enough too that like, I kind of like got out of that hysterical mode and into like just a consoling, you know, like what was happening so fast that like I didn't even think to call like 911. It's just like, this is happening and I'm the only one here, and so I'm just gonna like deal with this. And then thankfully, like after a few minutes, it stopped. And yeah, I mean, it was probably like the worst day of my life,
hands down.
but it hasn't happened again, thankfully.
I feel like Kara carries a lot of weight of that day because of it's not
but it is, to kind of like go back to what you were saying, it is this like slightly scary thing to live with, because it just like it could just pop up out of nowhere again. And I'd like to think that I could handle it better now, and I'd like you to know that I think I can handle it better now, you know, like knowing that it's something that like can happen and knowing like what it is that's actually happening. I think like the second time would not be near as traumatizing as the first.
There won't be a second time. There just won't be a second time.
No, sharing that journey has been, in a weird way, like really comforting. You know, obviously I think it's helped me just accept that like my body like actually needs to slow down. But hearing, I'm sure you can relate, like so many other people's stories that haven't gone as well as mine, like just makes me so grateful. Like some days, like if I'm not in a good headspace, it's depressing and I just want it all to go away. But then the next day I'm just so thankful that it could be so much worse. But yeah, I just can't imagine going through it alone. So thank you.
I've always thought that the two, like our couples, you know, you can hang out with a couple and all vibe and stuff, but what I've always loved about you guys is your love for each other, that I think mirrors our love for one another. And I think that's really rare, which is sad to say. And it's really in these times of just like darkness that shines so bright. And I just know that you feel the same that I do, and that our partners are just the greatest men on planet Earth. So and how much stronger I feel knowing that my relationship is the foundation that's going to get us through anything that happens. It's the coolest, most secure. It's just the greatest gift of my life. And so, yeah.
Great. Yeah. It like kind of goes in that same contrast theme we were talking about before, you know, like I do feel like we're closer than ever, and yeah, I feel more solid than ever in our relationship, and you can't really enjoy the good times without the bad ones. You can't truly enjoy the good times without the low ones too, you know?
It really heightens the gratitude.
Yes.
When you're feeling the gratitude, this is the best meal ever. Because as your other friend Bec says, we could be dead tomorrow. So let's friggin' just be in this present moment, enjoying this meal.
Yeah.
It's like you've always had these characteristics, like we were saying, but it just amplifies it. And I feel the same for me. Like I always felt a zest for life and a joy for life. But then you're up against death and you're like, all right, life is amazing. Like, let's go, you know?
Yeah, big time.
So where are you in your journey with epilepsy? And
so like Nate said, I had no idea that I had epilepsy. I had some weird.
Sorry, just to go back to that moment. So you kind of came to, and then and Nate's like, "Whoa, are you aware of what happened?"
I had no idea.
I
No
basically I laid her back in the bed.
She fell off the bed?
Yeah. And she basically just was still kind of like out, but was breathing again, so that felt good.
And wasn't shaking?
And wasn't like the seizure had obviously stopped, but she was like, she just kind of like immediately fell back asleep, and I think that's pretty common. Like you're exhausted after something like that.
Wow.
And so like I probably just let her lay there for like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe while I was just like gathering myself, and then like tried to wake her up. And then the first time I woke her up, she like, I tried to talk to her, like no response. And then like she, like her eyes were open, but like she's just not, you know, like taking anything in. And then the next time, like let her go back to sleep, wake her up like 5 or 10 minutes later, said some words that didn't make sense.
Oh my God.
And so like eventually by like time, like probably like 30 minutes after, like I woke her up and was like, "Do you want a coffee?" And then she was like, "Yeah." "Why are you asking me?" Like,
go get me the coffee.
Yeah, like she was back. Like it's really weird that you're like, you normally just bring me coffee. Why are you asking me if I want a coffee? But she had no recollection of any of it.
Wow.
Whoa.
I don't remember anything until the coffee question, and we did share like a probably shortened version of what happened on our channel. Like I think we skipped a few of the first questions, and I actually am glad this came up because a few of the comments were like, "Why the heck were you asking her if she wanted a coffee? Like she just had a seizure. Like that's so weird." But I think what we didn't mention is how many times he had tried to talk to me and I didn't reply. And so that was just a simple question that like I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like more of a test.
And
like,
not trying to
can
like
you
scare
talk
me,
back
like,
to me?
are
Yeah.
you alive? You know?
I feel like, my instinct would have been like force her up, wake her up more. But I feel like maybe that was the move to like be more calm with it and wait. I don't know.
Well, what you did is exactly right.
Yeah.
You're here. You're all
I mean,
good.
I think like the first like minute or minute and a half of the seizure, like I was just like fighting it.
Yeah. Not
Like,
to interrupt it.
Like
almost.
really hard.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, trying to interrupt it.
Uh-huh.
And then at some point I just like,
Yeah.
it just felt very powerless. Like there's nothing I can do. And so like, just like make her as comfortable as possible.
And have you learned now from the experts is you got to let them ride it out, right?
Yeah, there's just not like turn them on their side.
Yeah.
They actually did give us, there's like something you can, it's like an inhaler for your nose
Okay.
that will stop it.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And they were like, only use this if it goes on a really long time. And I was like, pretty sure I'm going to use this pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like,
What is it, you know?
I don't know.
They just call it a rescue
It's
med.
like cocaine or something?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm here. I'm good. No, I'm good.
Coffee.
But I had done some like research on this before and had read that like the way you administered the rescue med that I was looking at was in the butt. And so I always joke with Kara that I can't remember like where I need to put it if it happens again.
Which holds is going?
But I think the whole reason I was like pulling us into that conversation was like I feel like this conversation isn't complete without talking about that, because I do really feel like that's kind of changed the trajectory of this year and probably our future.
Yeah.
And just giving like I almost feel like it's the silver lining in it is it's given us permission, I think, or me permission, the permission that I needed to really slow down, I think, and take as much time as we need.
How sad is it that we needed to get to these points? Because we're the
Right?
same way. We were on this hamster wheel, never thought we'd get off. And what a gift this has been for us.
I really think that's the challenge of being in a career where there's no, I feel like musicians can see if you are on this hamster wheel and you don't take care of your mental health, like, you know, you can really get down a dark path, and people are out there talking about it. And that's why I feel like it's important to talk about it. I think YouTubers shy away from talking about burnout, and we don't want to feel or sound ungrateful, because at our core, we're all so grateful. We love our work. We love this job. It just, you know, we didn't have examples of people who were saying, hey, like, you know, slow down. And even Mr. Beast, who's like the YouTuber, I hear him all the time saying, don't learn from me. Like, I literally go until I'm completely burnt out. I need to sleep for however long, and then I just go again, which is basically what you guys were saying you were doing. Like, you just go until you literally hit that wall and cannot. And so, yeah, not that other careers are that much better at taking your mental health into consideration, but I think uniquely ours is, we don't know how long it's gonna last. Is YouTube
It's such a
thing?
weird thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most other jobs just have like a structure and have been around a long time.
You'll have a pension, and you don't have to worry about like all these other things. And
Yeah.
I don't even know that it's the newness, or I don't even like know that we should like take away from other people's jobs. But I do think for a lot, like especially the way that we've structured our channels, is YouTube is so integrated with your life.
yeah.
Right? Like there's no like I'm at work, I'm not at work, unless you've done a really good job of setting boundaries. And I think that's one thing that makes it really challenging.
So what are you moving forward with in this season of life? More rest, more stability, like taking chunks of time in one place just to give yourself that normalcy you might be craving.
Yeah, and really just checking in. Like, I think we've really skimmed over that a lot the last few years. Like, it was just like, we're doing this no matter how we feel. And like, yeah, we just didn't have someone being like, it's okay. And it took this for us to realize that like, it's okay to slow down. I don't know if it would have happened in a different season, I don't know how it would have gone, but like, I'm glad that we've gotten to this point where like we can slow down. Like, I'm really actually grateful for the timing, because I do feel that like I could actually just completely stop and it would be okay, which is cool, because it's like we're choosing to keep going. But for sure prioritizing rest in between trips, which has been like weirdly hard. Like, when you look at a calendar, like we get these huge calendars at the beginning of every year, and we put Post-it notes on where we think we're going to go that year. And like, as soon as you start adding some Post-it notes, it's like the year's basically over. Like, It's January 3rd, and like
Well, every
we've
3
already-
weeks, just come to Toronto, the triplex,
Toronto.
and come sleep in our living room, eh?
All
3
right.
days.
Sounds
Mandatory rest. Doctor's orders.
Mandatory rest at the chaos
Frank will wake
of
you up
the
at 6 a.m.
triplex. Yeah, exactly.
I woke up to Oso licking me here probably 50% of the mornings, and I love it.
Well, we were saying yesterday, adult sleepovers don't happen enough in people's lives.
Yes.
And the fact that you guys could be at a nice hotel but choose to sleep in our living room is just
You
one of the
probably
many
could have hit
reasons
up
I love
Casa
you.
Loma, and they would have given you the whole damn
It's like
castle.
our castle in
Oh,
the middle of Toronto.
You
That
didn't
actually
tell
would
me
be a
about
cool
that.
video.
Yeah.
Well, if only I would have known.
But yeah,
Maybe
I
next
do
time.
love that about you guys is it hasn't changed you, and you still want to, sleep in King in its van, and use our pull-out mattress, and
Adult sleepovers are underrated. Like, I think we're very lucky, and my guess is a lot of it comes from travel and van life. Like, we're used to sleeping in other people's spaces, but like in our life, we have so many adult sleepovers, like especially if you count 2 vans being side by side. Like, and it's so special to like wake up with somebody and have coffee and then like just chat until you're so tired you can't hold your eyes open anymore.
Until you're literally rolling into bed. Like it is like those are the best moments.
you can't.
The best.
There's no planning. There's no stress. There's no decisions on what you're gonna wear. Decisions on what
Yeah.
time you're gonna go at. Decisions on what time dinner is. Like, you're making all the decisions as a collective, and it takes off all that social
Pressure almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we were at the castle, I'd be like, okay, what's going on? Like, is Frankie up? Like,
Yeah.
I'd have to get up and like brush my teeth before I start talking to you. And
Yeah.
like,
No,
that
we
would
want
be
to
so
brush our teeth
boring.
and talk.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, that's how much we can't not be in the conversations. Like 2 nights ago, I was so tired. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed. I know Nate's just here. And then I'm like walking to the bedroom, like coming back every 5 seconds. Like, what are you guys talking about now?
I
Walking
brought my
again.
toothbrush into the kitchen to like not miss out.
Exactly.
Like while I was brushing my
It's the
teeth.
best. It's the best.
It's so beautiful.
The next big life thing, guys, we just can't not go there, are the babes.
You guys were the shining example of the first people we met that were very confidently throwing out the idea of not having kids. That
It changed our world. It was
It
amazing.
really rocked us.
It
We're
changed
like,
your world for like a week.
Yeah. Even an hour, at least it made us like
Yeah, but-
consider the possibility that we didn't have to have kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think, well, to go back further,
Let's do it.
we left to travel full time when I was 25 and you were 23. And at that point, we had been married for like 2-ish years. The plan was have kids 2 years after we get married. And then we decided, yeah. Was that the plan?
I think it was.
Okay.
I think we were going to do 5 years because we were so young. We were like, we got 5 years. And then that turned into like while we were at our prime YouTube career.
Yeah, ultimately it was like, well, let's go travel for a year.
Isn't it crazy
before
how
we-
long 5 years felt like back then?
Yeah.
Now 5 years feels like we could easily plan something for 5 years.
Totally. Yeah.
Wild. Sorry.
Like
True.
2029, you want to go on a trip?
Yeah. Spring break. Oh, can we talk about our spring break? After
Yes,
this?
definitely.
We thought we were going to go travel for a year and then come back and have kids. That was like the short version of the story that I should have told to start with.
No, that was great.
And then, yeah, we started the YouTube channel and we were loving traveling and like life was amazing. And I think it took us like 5 years of that because we kept being like, well, we're obviously like not going to have a kid right now. This is amazing and would ruin everything. And after 5 years of that, I think we had to go, okay, we're getting like slightly older now. There is the option of not having kids. And so I think like we started to take the decision. We always thought we would. And then Kara specifically started trying on this idea. You should take it. But she was trying on this idea of like saying that she wasn't to see how that felt.
That's just how I work. Like, I can't just think about it. Like, I'm really not a deep thinker. I wish I was. I really do. Like, I'm not a reflector. I just kind of float through life.
I think you're a very deep thinker.
Really?
The more I talk to you, it's like, then you considered this angle of it and that angle of it. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's just a
Oh,
belief you have
cool.
about yourself that
Oh,
I don't think is very
great.
true.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think.
I don't think you're analytical like Nate.
No,
right?
it's
Where like
different.
you don't have a spreadsheet in your head, but there's
No,
It's
yeah.
different. Okay, here's an example. You said you were texting me, I'm coming over, but don't stay up. But then you like took it back. So you're like thinking through the scenario.
Yeah.
You are a thinker.
Well, that's because I've learned
I'm not
from
a
you.
thinker.
I'm trying
I'm
to
the
be
opposite of you. I wouldn't have thought about, is Frankie sleeping? Is there going to be inconvenient? I was just like, that's my text.
I'm coming.
They'll reply as they need.
Honestly, I think, yeah, I've been working on certain skills inspired by Bec, or not skills, but like personality traits where like, instead of like tiptoeing, like, but it's totally fine. Like if I actually like want something, just like saying it and not just like
Wait,
worrying.
That's inspired by Bec or me? I inspired Bec with that.
We're very similar. We're
Yes.
people pleasers.
Yes.
We're peacekeepers. We want everyone to be happy. We never want to step on anybody's toes. You know, we want the peace. And so I'm so used to like asking questions in a certain way and then being like, but it's fine. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that this time. So like that was a good example, but like, you know, it's like a recent thing.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So in order for me, like I always thought I'd be a mom for sure. Never questioned it a single time. And I don't think I ever would have if we didn't like completely change our lives. And then, yeah, like year after year after year, I kept kind of thinking like, oh, I'm going to wake up one day and it's just going to be time. And then it occurred to me, it might not ever feel like it's time. Like I might have to just decide, like, when's that going to happen? And that just felt really weird. And like, how does that fit into our life? And I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like you're traveling. I totally get it. Like kids would change everything. And then other people are like, you could totally still travel with kids. And it really doesn't even have to do with those things. Like I've gotten to the point where I've thought about it so much that like I have this whole pro-con list of everything that doesn't even have to do with travel.
She's
So
not
it's
a
like,
deep thinker.
I guess I'm a thinker. I've thought a lot about this. Yeah, so it was like, okay, what if
Wait, is it your pro-con list or is it Nate's pro-con list?
I have a pro-con list.
Oh, nice.
I think everybody thinks that I'm the one that has a passionate opinion about this.
He doesn't care.
Wow. You're right. I do think that it's you.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion about it, except that I won't care to make the decision. I just like, I could give it or take it, I think. Or like it, for the past like 5 years, that's what I've told myself. Like give or take, I don't care what side we end up on. Like I, in the past, did not wanted kids enough to be like, let's just have one. I'll do all the work. Like,
Yeah,
Amen.
never. Yeah, Nate's never pressured me or the opposite. Like, yeah, I very much felt like he has put it on me, which in a way I'm like, I wish you would just have a decision or have an opinion, because I think that would help me. Like if he was just like, we're totally doing this, I think I'd be like, okay, yeah, like this is a good thing. Like everything else we do
would have
in
been
life.
very easy to do that.
Yeah. But I got to a point where I was like, I think I need to like think about my life without kids and see what that would feel like. Because I went, 30 years thinking I would. And it's kind of hard to just all of a sudden think maybe I won't. So I was like, I need to start saying it out loud and just seeing how it feels when it comes out of my mouth, seeing how people react. Like it was actually a cool experiment. I felt like a scientist or something. Like I would just kind of say it and see what happened. It was really interesting. Like some people, like when we first told y'all, you were like, oh, what does DINK stand for? Like, that
Maybe
could be
we want to
cool.
be dinks.
No, literally, I had that thought. I was like, whoa, that sounds pretty cool.
I remember, like, you were like, yeah, maybe. But you were all in. I remember you were like, nah, I don't know. Like, by the end of it, it wasn't for you, which is great. But that was my try-on stage. So I did that for like a year. And I kind of got to a point where I was like, I think I can see this happening. And then with everyone in my life having kids, I was like, I could be the world's best aunt. Like, I kind of love that role of being just like the really crazy aunt that just pops in and sleeps in your caca.
You are the world's
Aunt
best
Caca.
aunt.
She is.
Thank
You
you.
are. Oh
I
my gosh.
love being an aunt. Like, I love kids. I studied education. I was a teacher. I was a nanny. I was our neighborhood babysitter. Like, I was the kid person in my life. And so it shocked a lot of people, including me, when I was considering not. And then, took some more data, added to my pro-con list.
The scientist continues the experiment.
Yeah, and I got to where I could envision it. But then it almost felt like I needed to try on again having kids, knowing the data that I gathered from not wanting kids. And so that's the phase I'm in right now. It's like,
Oh, wait, so it's just a data collection?
no.
She's getting us all excited about 2025.
This has been the longest answer. I derailed this
spreadsheet.
I derailed us by taking us back to 2015.
Basically, yeah, I do think I've been very open about this on our channel. Like, I like to talk about it out loud. I think it helps me to process, but I do think if I can think past our life right now, which is really hard to think of any differently than the way it is, like, I know one day I'm not going to be as consumed by traveling and YouTube, and I do think I will be happier if we have kids. And so we've talked about, should we say it?
No, I was just thinking about how happy my parents were going to be listening to this podcast. But yeah, throw it out there.
I'm very aware that, like, you really can't plan anything around parenthood, but like maybe 2025 is our last year of just child-free freedom, and then we begin
conception December 21st, 2025.
It's on the calendar.
Yeah.
But I think that has...
We could conceive the same day. We could line that up.
That would be
Well,
awesome.
quite literally, we're implanting the next one, so it'd be pretty easy.
It's funny. I used to joke with my high school friends about this.
I remember
But
that.
that ship has sailed a long time ago.
They've all had kids?
Yeah.
Conception night
2.0. But I think even it's been fun. I feel like we've probably had this idea for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months. And it's
kind of sticking, which is unique.
It's sticking, and I think it's kind of changed the way that we've lived this year. I think to some extent, one of the questions was like, where does the energy come from? And at this point, like, I'm getting a lot of energy of continuing to do all these crazy things and making the most of this season, because now it feels like there's an end point to it, which is not that far away. Like, I get one more year of just like complete freedom and being able to do whatever I want. Sure, we'll go to the South Pole. Sure, we'll like fly up to see the pole. Let's make the most of it.
Yeah.
I don't think anything we've done this year is kid friendly. Like, I know you can travel with kids, but like the things that we've done, like overlanding Iceland, overlanding Oman, alone in the desert, like very much not baby friendly.
I mean, if
And we
anyone
kinda
could do
had
it,
that
you guys
in-
could do it. But, I do think that kids change things. Like, you're very aware. Your scientific data
Too
has
aware.
told you this.
Yeah.
You're too aware. You've overthought it, sister. I don't think about anything. Well, I love it. We can't wait. You guys are just amazing with Frankie, and
She's the
Join the
best.
chaos.
join. I love. I think it's who's the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Adam.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen this clip he does where he's like,
No.
everyone who has a kid is like, yeah, have a kid. Like, all your friends are encouraging the dinks. And then as soon as they have the kid, they're like, welcome to the chaos. You lose. Like, you don't
Welcome to
tell them
hell.
before. Yeah, you don't tell them before. Although I think we've been really open about it. But you're kind of like, come into the chaos with me. And then you're like,
Yeah.
It is
"Ah."
true.
It's so funny. The last thing I want to go back to is like, if you feel.
Sorry, can I pee?
Oh, sure.
I have to pee too. Do we
Oh.
do habit refills?
Yes, let's do habit refill and a pee. Okay, great. Amazing.
All right, we're back. We just wanted to fill up our teacups and empty out our bowels.
Bladders would have sounded a little more better.
I was trying to think about what, and bowels came out. But
This
you
is half
guys-
of why you're so funny, because you're just looking for the word and you pick whatever one works. Hey?
Dyslexia is awesome.
Bowels.
No, I love it. I
Okay.
don't care.
Okay.
And we wanted to shamelessly plug our brand new organic jasmine green tea. Tell them, KB.
Yo. Honestly, I drink a lot of green tea, and it's the best I've ever had.
Come on.
I've learned a lot from these guys on how to brew it. So the brew was key. It was the least bitter, like smoothest green tea I've ever had.
Do you like read ads for a living or something? You're really good at this.
No, she was.
Am I hitting all the talking points you told me to say?
We actually did do a lot of sampling, and we're really excited about this blend. It's key to not use boiling water. A lot of people don't know that.
I had no idea.
But some kettles actually have a green setting, so like 175 is a good temperature. and it is caffeinated, and I think it's going to stay here. A lot of
Yeah.
times we launch the teas, but we've had a lot of people asking about this. So there it is, organic jasmine green.
You can
I'm
go to
buying it.
drinkhabit.com to try the jasmine green tea and use code Reroot for 10% off your first purchase.
We're giving them 10% off?
I mean, why not?
Did we even talk about that?
Nice.
Yeah, I just said to you before we started, and we got the Reroot thing.
All right, well, how about if they order in the next 48 hours, we'll give them 15.
Oh, geez. What's the code for that?
Reroot 15.
Okay.
Huh?
If they thought we weren't actually owners of this company, I'm going to go on Shopify, the back end,
Yeah.
type in Reroot 15. So if you've made it to this part of the episode,
Reroot
right on,
15
guys.
for 48 hours, or it's going down to Reroot 10. So you
I'm
decide.
taking advantage of that.
Cheers. Well, I've really enjoyed where we've taken the conversation. Thank you for
Same.
being so open, honestly. I know that there was not hesitation, but just like, you know.
There
They
are
were
a lot
nervous
of
coming on
feelings
the
going
pod.
on this podcast.
Yeah, a lot of
Do we
I-
have like a bit of a
feelings.
reputation now that like we get into it?
You have a
or-
reputation that I've projected on you personally from watching the podcast. Because I think I've watched every episode.
Oh, thank you.
That's
And
so
you
No,
just
it's
have
so good.
Thank you.
And-
So good.
Just wait till you hear this episode, dude.
Our guests are amazing.
you just have a way of getting like really deep,
Into the roots.
which is
Yeah.
which is not really where which is not my comfort zone.
But we're just going slightly outside the circle, as we talked about. And in a year's time, we'll circle back, Kara and Nate on Reroot for the third time, and you'll be feeling the feelings, maybe.
That's a great way to look at it. Just a
We'll
little
have
at
a
a
babysitter
time.
program.
Yeah.
Check in your kid.
I just need to say, these two are so unbelievably inspiring. I mean, that's no new news, but to be in their home and experience the love, I mean, it's just, this was supposed to be happy. It's electric. I mean, it's like I'm in a Friends episode. Like, people are just like coming in and out all the time. There's dogs on every floor. There's babies. Like, it is the most joyful place. And it's like, we're hardly even doing anything. Like, we're just hanging out, but it's been the best week ever and just filled my cup. I'm overflowing. No one makes me feel the way that you do. Like, no one lifts me up the way that Bec does. And it's just so inspiring. Like, I want to be more like you. You make me so much better.
And I want to be more like you. You are so easy to lift up. Genuinely.
Last night or earlier, they were going, "You're my teacher." No, you're my teacher, and just crying. You're my teacher. It's really cute.
I love like the little sound bites people must catch up on, the two of us just literally washing dishes like, no, but you've taught me so much. No, but you've taught me so much.
It's true. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, it's like I didn't even know I needed a friendship like ours. All of us. Like, I really, truly didn't realize I was lacking that in my life until you came into my life, which is so cool. Like, you filled a gap that was just unknowingly open, you know, and you've just filled it so good. Love y'all so much.
Love you so
Love
much.
you
cool.
too.
You're so
We're
cool.
so lucky.
I love you too, Nate. You're included in that.
Love y'all.
Love you too, bro.
So much love.
Oh,
I really am a hypocrite
why?
because I spent like the whole first half of the episode talking about getting out of your comfort zone, but I'm really only willing to do it in certain ways.
Ooh, did we just crack something open?
I'll get too excited.
He's like, and that's it.
I was
Close that
just
door.
pointing it out.
Well,
I
because
love
we're
that.
here, I will just say that when we invited you on the podcast, I feel like you had hesitation because we like to like go into deep feelings and emotions. And I think you don't do it or that you are uncomfortable with it. But, you know, I feel like I sat on the couch with you yesterday and I'm like tearing up about how you were having these massive moments during the 100-mile race and how that felt. And you do feel, Nate Dogg.
Sometimes.
You do. And you have such a beautiful heart. And my intention is just to share more of that, you know? I feel like the podcast just wouldn't be complete without coming back to the beginning when we were talking about burnout, because it's a word or an experience I think is thrown around a lot. But after speaking with you, I know you really experienced it. Can you just take me through when you realized you were experiencing it and what that felt like for you?
For sure. So last summer when we decided to take that week, it was because, like I said, I wasn't feeling myself. And what I mean by that is we would have something really exciting planned and I would almost be dreading it. Even though like I could zoom out and I could see that like this is a really exciting opportunity. I should be excited for this, but I'd have to almost fake it. Like I'd have to really turn it on. It wasn't natural excitement for me. And I am just most of the time pretty excited about most things. And it took me a while to like try to shake it off. Like, oh, this is just like, I'm just tired. And I really couldn't explain, how I was feeling and why it hit me so hard. But I think it was just built up over so long and just the going and going and going because we truly wanted to. Yeah, it all just caught up with me. And maybe like epilepsy being there had to do with it. Like part of my brain just was actually not functioning anymore. Like I don't know really what to blame it on. But yeah, I wasn't myself. I didn't like this version of myself. And I didn't know what else to do except for to slow down and take time away. And it has truly been the best thing. Like it's really just a perspective thing. Like this year, it's like instead of looking at it as like, oh, we should be out doing what we do best, but like instead of doing this, it's like I'm looking at it as I get to take this time off. Like when Nate decided he was going to run the level 100, the timing was so perfect for me because I'd gotten the diagnosis, I had started medication, and I was really, really nervous to start traveling and be on this new medication in a foreign country. Like I didn't know what the side effects were going to be. Like if I'm really fatigued, is that just because I'm traveling or is it because of the medicine? Like I just wanted to remove all of those variables and just be in one spot and just really be able to feel rested and like dial in all things epilepsy related. And for him to do that, like I almost feel like it was for me. Like spending the summer in Colorado in one spot was just life-giving for me to take out all of that worry and like what ifs. Like while Nate's out there running his brains out, I was just so happy.
But I think that was a massive win-win. Like it didn't feel like a sacrifice to me. That's something that had been on my bucket list for a long time and that I didn't know when I would have time for it. And this gave me time for it. You got to be in one place.
It was such a win-win. Yeah. And I don't know if that's something we ever really shared, but yeah, the moment he decided to do it and I realized I was going to get to spend this summer in my favorite spot, Colorado, one bed, one place, like it was like Christmas. Like I could not believe it. And every day I woke up in the same place. I was like, this is the best. But it was because we had gone through all of that stuff before that I got to really just settle in and embrace that. And fun enough, like by the end of it, we were kind of like itching and ready to go again. And that's when I really knew I was okay.
Ah, that's so beautiful.
Like truly, yeah.
I mean, the last like 2 months is the first time we've kind of tested like, can we kind of go back to the pace that we were at in the past, but in like shorter seasons and in shorter bursts this time, taking more time off in between. And like we weren't sure because a big trigger for your epilepsy is lack of sleep, stress.
Yeah.
But it's gone great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kara, how's it going for you?
So great. I mean, I think Nate is such a huge reason for that. Like he checks in so often and like, sees me when I'm starting to like get stressed about something, and we're so aware of it now that he'll just tell me like, we don't have to do this. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's stop. Let's go on a walk. And it's just so different than how the rest of our time together has looked. But I love it. Like I like being that tuned into each other. Like it's been like such a weird season, but like a really cool season at the same time. But yeah, it's been really, Really good.
I also want to ask you about the team you're building or have built, because it's very impressive, but it also, of course, comes with its own levels of stress, managing people and, you know, full-time salaries, and, you know, your overhead has become a lot higher. Has that been, like, maybe you can just unfold that process to us, like how many people you have and what does that look like?
Yeah, I think like everybody probably knows about the YouTube channel, which we have 3 other people on our team, but some people may or may not know about like the Daily Drop side of things, which
Let's
is
plug
our
Daily Drop, because it's pretty freaking cool.
Definitely plug Daily Drop.
So it's our Miles and Points newsletter. So we like teach people how to use miles and points to travel the world for cheap or free in some cases. And we've just launched a new tool called Daily Drop Pro. So like basically the newsletter teaches you how to earn the points, and then the pro tools help you redeem those points. So like it's basically Skyscanner, but for searching miles and points flights.
Which is so authentic to who you guys are, because I don't think a lot of people would know that if you do zoom all the way back, that's kind of how you started traveling, right? Like you were obsessed with figuring out how to get cheap airline tickets.
We had 22 credit cards before we left to travel. Wow.
Insane.
No debt.
America.
You still have a
Right?
crazy amount of credit cards, no?
Yeah.
And so now you've built this insane, incredibly useful platform to help others do what you were doing. That's very cool.
And we've got 12 people on that team now. So
Wow.
I think 13, because between all of us, there's 18 people in total. Which I feel like sounds stressful. And I think we maybe feel differently about that. We have some great people running we have amazing team members all the way around, but Daily Drop I'm able to be really hands off of, so I don't find that stressful. It's a profitable company, so I'm not stressed about payroll. So just set that one over there. The YouTube side of things, like it's such a small team, and we grew really slowly with the amount of people that like we've never brought somebody in before we could afford them. And so the finances of it have never been stressful. Our people are really good. I think I don't care how much somebody's working as long as they're getting their stuff done and are there when I need them. And I'm such a hands-off manager. Like I'm never going to micromanage somebody. Like we just won't work together if I have to micromanage you, because that's not.
Are you good at firing?
No.
'Cause that's the thing they say, right, is like hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
And it is hard to fire, you know. You scared, then I got to look for another staff and blah blah. But that's like the biggest thing in business. It's like, don't let those people drag it out.
I would be the worst at that.
I am also the worst at it. Eamon is luckily not afraid of confrontation and just gets the job done. So
That's a skill.
But I also think that I'm learning how to manage people, because I'm so happy to hear you say that. I really respect you as like a business person, and I feel I really lack as a manager because I'm so hands off.
Keep going. I'm just going to pull that guy off.
But to know that it's okay. Like, I think I just haven't found the right people if it's not working. Like, I don't necessarily have to be the one who changes, because I would have loved to have a manager who just trusted me and let me do my thing and then came back with the work and of course gives feedback and helps the person grow. But I thought it was my issue that I wasn't more of a micromanager, if that makes sense, but just the wrong people if it's not working, right?
For sure.
I don't think I'm good at it.
But you obviously are. You're building amazing companies and...
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just surrounding yourself with good people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I am such a terrible manager. Like in the sense that like managing does stress me out. Like if I start thinking about other people's job on top of my job, like that's it.
It adds more work.
So thankfully, like we have people that like, you know, we say like, here's what needs to be done. And then I don't think about it again. Like we don't do like, you know, conference calls and like all those things. Like I cannot fathom that life. Like just being able to put it out there and know it's going to get done is so comforting. And like, sure, there are times where I'm like more stressed than other times, like when there's like tight deadlines and stuff. Like I really feel for our team of editors, because it was me for so long that like when we do have a big week, like I can feel myself being like, oh gosh, this one's going to be big and do I need to send coffee? But like I really try to take a deep breath and realize that like they're strong and capable, and like so was I, and this is just all part of it, and we're all a big team in the end, and some weeks are easier than others, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Like
that's life.
Yeah.
Contrast therapy.
That's right.
Circling back yet again.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. I don't know if we've talked about this, but Bec's new like awakening and visioning and alignment. You are like a new Bec, right?
Okay.
And so this leading with love thing in business took a long time for me to like accept and swallow this pill. But now I've been going on my own journey of just like pure love and finding out who I am and leading with love, and we're all one. And I've been bringing that into our business, and our partners are like so much more motivated than they've ever been. Our staff are like responding, and it's
They're actually
it is
responding
really
to our
cool.
emails.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
That is beautiful.
I mean, Andrew showed up half an hour before work today.
No, Andrew is
Just kidding.
an outlier. He is incredible.
The
I was never
best.
talking about you, Andrew. You're the friggin'
You're great.
greatest gift of my life. You're amazing.
But it is really cool concept, and it's one of those things like if you watch Shark Tank, like I just don't think those guys operate like that. I think
Yeah.
they're
You really carried the belief that if you were nice in business, you were the last man.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't be nice in business. And I was always like we'd be on a negotiation call. I'm like, just give them the 15%, like whatever. And he's like, back, you know?
Yeah, I still think we could have gotten there beyond that.
Lead with love, baby.
Yeah, I'm still not fully there, but it's working, and it's very cool to see people are motivated by love and
Good
support
energy
and good energy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Mhm.
Because it's
But the
actually
wrong
such a
person
tiny
won't
little
be.
shift.
And I think that's what's key. Is like if they are not like buying into that,
Or
they will
meeting
take
you there.
advantage.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's the part that is hard to figure out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But on the whole, if they're good people, boost them up.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
look great today, by the way. I haven't really looked in this direction. You look
Thank you,
fire.
baby. Appreciate
Super
that.
cute.
Yeah,
fit.
I just
super
picked
cute.
this up for I think $13.99 at the thrift store. It's a great find.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good.
I was dressed by Bec, if you can't tell. That's why I look so cute today.
That top
I
is
might
yours,
wear it
like I
home.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours. And Nate was dressed by
Nate.
I tried to get
this-
Nate under and his out of his comfort zone, but I figured with the whole emotions and talking about things, two might be too much.
Okay, I feel like we're at the time for real talk. How do
Let's do it. Yeah, great. Real talk, something we've been working on for a long time. It is our conversation starter game. Comes with the wooden stand. You leave it on your coffee table, and
When Nate
there's a
comes
money
to
back
visit,
guarantee. I think we should do a money back guarantee.
let's do a money back.
Money back guarantee
Wow.
that you will love it, because we've already had, we give away some of the conversation cards. Each purchase gets a conversation cards. And let's pop up some of the reviews. We just had one the other day.
It was so beautiful.
Tell them.
She DM'd us to say, my mom was so excited because she knows how much I love you. So she got me the tea, and we were like enjoying a tea together, and we saw the conversation card. And she said they literally unpacked like her childhood, her whole mom's life. It was so
With just
beautiful.
one card.
Yeah.
Imagine a whole pack.
Yeah.
For $39.99. I don't even know what the price is.
I think
but-
it's like $29. No?
Yeah.
No, I love it. Okay,
Oh,
so
I can't
grab a card.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah. So
exciting.
special.
This is an interesting one. What is something that you currently need advice on?
Ooh.
Because we know the answer.
What is it?
No. Whatever their question is, we'll be able to.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know what they need.
Oh, right. Like you'll
Yeah.
give the advice.
Armchair experts over here.
No pressure.
Should we have kids?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a few months ago, maybe that would be it.
You literally don't even need advice on that. You were a born mom. Like, it's so obvious.
Thank you.
I was learning from you with Frankie. I wasn't lying. Like,
Are you
watching you.
serious?
Yes. You're amazing.
Oh my gosh. This
Frankie
is what
on
I'm
the-
talking about.
It's amazing.
Honestly, if I was actually asking y'all for advice, and that's what it's been for me this week.
No, it does. Sorry, it doesn't have to be us.
I know, but this is just the first thing that like came to mind, and I just keep thinking it. And I'm trying to think of something else, but like how y'all have been able to take like meditation and it literally change who you are in your life. Like it is so evident and so cool that I am just so bought in. Just seeing it with my own eyes has been incredible. So like I'm already like trying to learn more about it and stuff, but
For example, this morning I woke up and my brain, it's like your brain when you first wake up wants to remind you of who you are. So it often tells you like the stresses you have and the things that are going on that day and whatever. So instead of letting that loop carry me out and then like bring me to the coffee and just meet you guys and like, well, yeah, like it's going to be a fun day. I did a meditation. And in the meditation, I started feeling joy, love, gratitude. I started literally feeling this moment with you and setting the intention that when you guys are on this couch, you know that you are like supported and seen and loved by me. And that made me feel so good to have you guys here in this space with me. And I can like feel the moments before they happen. And while I'm doing that, it reminds me that when I'm in the moment to feel grateful and to so I feel like I woke up this morning, came out that door, you guys were all up, Osa was on the bed with you, Frank was there. I'm like, I am buzzing. But if I hadn't have taken, I only did 30 minutes. If I hadn't have taken that 30 minutes, I would have just gone on autopilot and not even noticed, you know, that I'm kind of feeling a bit anxious or oh my God, I'm, you know, my scan's coming up in a month. Like that's the kind of thoughts that happen in my brain when I first wake up. Yeah. So I just choose to like hit it right then so that I can't, or of course the cycles happen, but that I'm more conscious of them when they're happening. Yeah. So
cool.
Was that?
I could tell you were buzzing when you came out. Honestly.
I think also my advice is like, and it's so weird for me to say this because I would hear people say stuff like this and it's like, well, it's just, I'm unique. It's not going to happen to me. But the more I've been doing it now, the more I want to do it. And I'm like, that's like a big step, you know, because before it was like I was feeling like, oh, meditate, waste of an hour, all these things that you feel like when you go to start doing it. I can't sit with myself. I have ADD, all these little things. And now it's like, it's totally changed. It's like I really enjoy it. And I'm just so excited to see how powerful my mind can be. And once that shifts for you, then it's not, you're not even having this conversation of like, how do I start? How do I get into it? Yeah. It's just like, this is a practice and I'm going to stick with it.
Super cool.
So cool.
Y'all are so cool.
Y'all are so cool. Y'all.
You guys.
You know what the cutest thing is when your nieces and nephews on the phone, we say y'all. They're like 2. They were on the phone this morning. I'm like, that is so cute. He's like, y'all have a baby? I'm like, Bear, when did you start talking? And yes, I have a baby. Y'all want to show me Frankie? I'm like, yeah, I do. So cute.
Do you have an answer or do you want me to do another one?
I don't have an exact. Read me the question one more
time. What's something you need advice for?
Currently need advice on.
I don't know what the exact question is, but it's something to do with like guidance on moving into a more balanced season of life. And like how to, I guess like what is that balance? And then like how to be content there. Because if I'm not doing, I have this like nagging feeling that I'm wasting an opportunity or even like wasting life, right? But I think like that's one of the things that I think I'm slowly coming to terms with is just like a day that would be like a boring page of the book. Like those are necessary. And up to this point, it's just been like, just say yes to the next thing and go do it, even if you don't feel like it. Because I've always said like, it'll be more memorable if I go do this than if I just like sit here today and work on my computer, like do whatever. But I think like realizing that you need those days of doing very little.
I have two parts to that. Is number one would be like a hobby, like you find something that you're really interested in. I could see you like getting really into Lego or you know, woodworking or something.
Kara's gonna be a musician with Eamon. We should circle back to that. They're gonna be famous.
Imagine Nate
we need to find our Lego enthusiasm.
He's got like warehouses of Lego.
We're on tour.
But actually my initial instinct was like, you're such a business person. You love getting into the weeds of a business and you're amazing at it. Like there's nothing stopping you from becoming a serial entrepreneur and investing in different companies. You don't have to start the company.
You should be on Eamon's goal is to be on Dragon's Den, but you would be an amazing shark.
My next like big goal would be like be a shark on Dragon's Den. And so we're going to sell Habit for $100 million.
Nice.
And then, you know, that'll give me the door. But there's nothing stopping you from starting other businesses. And I think you'd love that challenge and finding new things and new opportunities.
My advice is so opposite.
Meditate.
No, I think in the rest there is so much magic, genuinely. And whether that's like human connection in a different way, getting to know yourself better. Or I just think, I can't remember who it was. I listened to this amazing podcast, and he's like, unless you take proper rest, you can't actually be creative enough to dream up what's next. So you're really limiting yourself when you don't rest, because we know how to do what we're doing. So that wheel is great, but you're actually never going to get to the next level of your potential as a human being, with the next chapter being way more incredible. You can't even fathom it. You can't even dream it until you rest.
I was coming in here today realizing that like just starting this podcast has like, you've gotten to learn so much, and I'm coming in here and I'm looking at all these cameras and these light setups, and I have no clue how any of it works. Why this light's placed there, why this light's placed there. We just like use the same camera every day. We kind of know the format for the video, and there's not a lot of like creative growth. There's growth in the adventures, and like we're taking that to the next level, but there's not a lot of, we've kind of got the format down.
Totally.
And it is fun to be learning something new.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of jealous of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Karen Nate podcast. Let's go. That was great.
I love it. I feel like we should ask their advice on something.
Okay.
Or we can do another card. What do you want to do?
I mean, I would love business advice from you. I would love an investment, actually. I would love you to invest in a habit and get you as a partner.
I heard you have a pitch deck.
I do, yeah. Because I really I think we're missing someone like you on the team, where you like.
Wow, they're
you
watching
see
this
things from
Dragon's Den
different
pitch
angles.
live.
Yeah, but Nate does. He would be such a value add to the team, because he is very analytical, and he has a passion for that. It's like we don't have someone on our team that's like diving into that stuff. We're just like,
when he's like, "What's
let's
your
launch a new
ROAS
team."
right now?" I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know." It's like you with like, "What? How does this work in your business?" Well, I don't know. Like,
No idea.
yeah.
Like we were together for like 3 days before Nate got here, and there were so many conversations that just kind of had to end because I was like, that's a Nate question. I have no idea. I have no idea.
But it's the best.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, but I still don't know that I'm doing it right.
You are.
You know, like I think you focused a lot more on like brand with Habit. Like Habit feels like way cooler. And I feel like I'm bad. I'm bad at cool.
But we'll bring the cool,
But,
and
yeah.
you bring the analytics, and you bring your spirit.
I don't know. Daily Drop Pro looks very
Gotcha.
cool.
It does actually.
It looks sick. Dark mode?
Thanks.
Yeah, very cool. Did you want to ask advice, or you want to ask another one?
No, let's ask one more. Ooh. Who would you want as a dinner guest if you could choose anyone, dead or alive? I know all your answers.
I love Adele.
Would she be like
Post
someone you
Malone.
want to have a convo with, or do you want to just have her sing to you at the dinner table? Or do you want to ask her about your new career?
She wants to sing with her.
Yes. Okay. Can we pause for a second? Eamon and Kara are both just so bright. You all love them. There's a million reasons why. But they both have this real deep longing to be musicians. So Nate and I have
Performing.
decided to step back. We're going to, have our rest. And these two had a whole conversation the other night about how they're taking the world by storm with their sold out tours where the stadiums can't even
They're actually
hold.
going to need to build new stadiums for us.
Right.
So far, the only concern was that it would be too big.
It'd be so
It's going to be
big.
massive.
Neither of them can play an instrument or sing, but
Zero talent whatsoever. But I did dream my whole life of like being a performer on a stage. Like usually
I
it was
think it
with
goes
someone
back to
else.
your
Maybe I was
advice.
picturing you
Dude,
this whole
this is
time.
it.
you've been
This is it.
manifesting it.
But I think it goes back to your advice, which is really good, is like you'll never get there without the time to
Yeah.
dream and to practice and to discover. And
To
I
learn
think
something
giving
new.
yourself time to, I don't know, you're going to do piano, guitar? Have you thought much
Well,
about
I
this?
love Adele, and
Yeah.
Adele plays the piano. So
Yeah.
that would probably be my role.
Yeah.
I think the drums are really cool. Like imagine me like rocking out on
I
the
can
drums.
totally see you as
Really?
the drummer. Yes. You know the drummers that don't even sit all the time? They're like half like in this like
And
stand.
I'm just like,
Sold out arena
I
shows to
see
watch
it
you
for you.
drum.
solo drums.
No,
show.
you're the singer apparently.
Oh, it's just drums and vocals?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm vocals with you.
Oh, okay, cool.
While I have a mic just like this.
Yeah, cool.
Hello.
Actually, I used to play in my band when I was a kid, drum and sing. That was my thing.
Wow.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should be the drummer.
I can drum.
We can be the band that kind of rotates.
Oh, even better.
Like we're multi.
Just learn to play every instrument.
I love it.
That's the thing is I actually think it's possible. Like if we really wanted to,
100%.
we could do it.
So what's
We could
stopping
be
you?
musicians.
I know they talk about the 10,000 hour rule, and I think that's pretty relevant to be like a super peak level. But I'm like pretty sure that if you're passionate about anything, you can do it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, just put the energy out there.
Yeah.
So Adele, maybe at the
Probably
dinner table.
Adele.
Mm.
Yeah. I think she's so funny. She's obviously so talented, and
You love British people as well.
I just love her.
I love her.
I just think we could be best friends if she just gave me a chance.
All right, Cara,
very
have a
good.
seat here, darling. I'll show you how to play the keys.
Nate, do you have someone you'd love to have dinner with?
You threw out Casey Neistat, so that's stuck in my head. Like he was the inspiration behind the YouTube channel, and I think like just taking him to a nice dinner to thank him for that would be nice.
You met him, no?
No.
No. Wow.
Casey.
Oh yeah, we did.
I attacked
That was
him.
embarrassing. Let's not cut to that clip.
The overlay.
I super fanned. I wasn't prepared, you know.
We were talking about this last night. It's so funny that like we have had that experience to us where someone is like super excited and like verbal diarrhea and everything. And then it's so funny that like we do that
I
all
did
the
it.
time.
Of
right?
course.
It's like a
I did
natural
it
thing.
so
You get so
hard.
excited to meet someone and you just
I
end
And
up
you
know
do
what
embarrassing
I
know a
was
yourself.
lot
saying.
about them, and yeah.
Right.
It's like Eamon with Craig. Do you guys know that about him? When he met
No.
Craig Holmes?
No.
It was so embarrassing. It's like standing next to him, like, I cannot believe I'm meeting you right now. It's like, dude.
That is
Keep
hilarious.
When was
Control.
this?
This was back in the day, but they were like the first channel we kind of found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They
like,
were like had merch and like, you know.
I think they had 2,000 subscribers, honestly, and we were just like
Amazing.
obsessed with them.
Man.
Doesn't matter how big you are.
Good time.
Okay, guys, we are looking. Well, I guess this segment is called Spill the Tea. We are looking for a story, some sort of behind the scenes travel, maybe. Didn't make the cut for a video. She knows one.
Oh,
Tell me about a time that. Okay, just go. Just fill in the
I don't
blanks.
even know the rest of the question. I just thought of it and I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah.
I haven't even told Nate this story.
Okay.
Oh, so good.
I
Okay,
feel
here's Kara spilling the tea on Reroot.
It's probably not what you're expecting.
No, go.
I feel like everyone has this story in their travels. Like if you've traveled abroad, especially
Diarrhea.
close. Especially, yeah, if you're somewhere where like bathrooms aren't as accessible or if like you're questionably feeling something in your tummy.
You didn't get to the Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola tip. That's a good one. If you're eating food that you think you might get diarrhea from,
Can we look that up, Andrew?
chug a Coke.
They think that if
No,
you
it's real.
if you drink Coke, it helps settle your belly.
Don't-
With the meal. Like I think it just kills the bacteria.
It's so bad for you that it just kills everything.
We've been very fortunate. Like we haven't had that many cases. Like I've never had to go squat and poop in the corner like you did. that one time.
Don't take the placebo effect away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Oh.
Don't look it up.
Yeah, we believe it.
Yes.
And maybe that's why it works. Like
100%.
I truly, like when I'm drinking that Coke, I'm like, yep, this is going to go down just fine.
You know, I heard if you drink habit, you actually become a millionaire.
Right. And
Every
you don't
single
poop your
cup.
pants at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah. So last week I was in Verona, Italy. It was during one of our like off weeks that we take in between trips so that we can just like go be normal people and it's super fun. Nate left a day before I did to start his crazy round the world trip.
I'm so nervous that I don't know what this story is.
I haven't even told Nate. I was so embarrassed. I questioned
I already
telling you.
now I feel even more embarrassed that you're sharing it with so many people.
So I decided I was just going to go have like a day on the town by myself. And like when I'm by myself, I'm definitely a bit more like, you know, aware and conscious of like people around me. And it's just so unique for me to be alone that I try to really embrace it and like go out and do something. So like I went and had a pasta, I went and got a coffee, I shopped around. I was looking for Frankie something. I wanted a shirt that said Ciao Bella so badly. I went in every baby store, nothing.
Oh.
Right? So I'll look for
Business
that online
opportunity.
and I'll send it.
Okay.
But I think I was so like caught up in just like having so much fun by myself that I didn't realize how bad I had to pee. So then I was like, oh wow, like it just came to me like I really have to pee. And I could not find a bathroom anywhere. And like Nate is just this like, he has this GPS, he knows exactly where to go to get back. But like I had to like get my phone out and like put our hotel in there. And I'm like literally running down the streets. Then I had to get my card out and then you have to go up all these stairs to get to our room. And then I have to get the card out again. I literally peed my pants.
No. No way.
When? Where?
You had me on the edge of this.
In the hallway?
You know when you know you're about to go and it like you're right there and like all of a sudden it gets more intense. Like I think that hit me like on the street, you know, but I still had all of these steps to get
KB, I
to
love
the
you
How
toilet.
much did you let out? Like
I would say it was like
8 ounces? 4 ounces?
I would say I'm trying to think in ounces, like 2 ounces.
Mm.
I mean, it was
Just
a
enough to relieve
significant
yourself.
amount. Like I had to change,
Wow.
you know, like it was.
Yeah.
I can't believe you hadn't told me this.
I
mean-
couldn't. I haven't even like given birth or like like that happens to pregnant people.
Yes,
but like
yes.
I had no reason except for like I waited too long.
I was too excited shopping.
I needed that Child Bella shirt.
Wow.
KB, I love you so
I spilled the
much.
pee.
You spilled the pee. That's
Oh, I
amazing.
mean,
Not
you're
the
too
tea.
embarrassed to share that with me, but you'll just share it with the world.
I decided I was gonna tell you, but like I just forgot, and it's been multiple days. It would have come up eventually.
You ever poop
Oh.
yourself,
No.
Nate?
No.
Nate. Is this an honest, safe space?
No, I haven't.
No? I have many times.
I have
Yeah.
I have the opposite of that problem.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's
Pretty
the way
stopped up.
my bowels tend to go.
Nice. Well,
Great
guys, is that it?
I feel like, is there
feel like-
anything else you want to talk about?
Do you have
Plug-
any tea to spill?
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought about turning it on us. Gosh, you know what's cool? It's not really a tea to spill, but I feel like I'd love to share the story of us all on our spring break vacation this year
Yes.
and how we ended up at like a Michelin star restaurant with a child in flip-flops. And basically, yeah, so
And women's dresses.
Yeah.
oh, and Eamon was in a lace dress. Was that
Iconic.
night?
I think that was the other
It
restaurant.
Oh, is
That was the other restaurant.
Oh, the Italian
Yeah.
night.
But we were dressed to impress.
Okay, so this
We
is a
were.
Reroot exclusive. I don't think we've talked about it on the pod.
No.
In
I
March.
don't think it ever hit the internet.
I've got a bunch
Yeah.
of clips we can start rolling.
Oh.
Perfect. I do too.
Uh-oh.
We've got a lot of relic photos.
Yes. Oh, fun. Yeah, they're on my frame at home. Okay. In March, we all met up for a spring break vacation that the internet didn't know about. And actually, I feel like it's important to share that because I think you guys were copping some, why aren't you visiting Eamon Bec? Not that it matters what people think,
Yeah.
but your priority definitely was to visit us and comfort us. And you showed up in so many ways. So internet, just know that they're amazing friends. We all went to Cancun together and so many amazing moments and memories. But the best one for me was we're all at a dinner.
Adam, Sarah, Craig, Amy, Kara, Nate,
And Frankie.
And Frankie.
Frank.
The best part was Kara tells me before this dinner, I had thought, like, how do I support my two friends who have just had a baby? Normally, I say, you go to dinner and I'll watch your baby. So we're all sitting at this restaurant. The last night we're all together is the next night. And Kara goes and announces, Eamon, for your last night tomorrow, I've booked you and Bec this Michelin star dinner, just the two of you. I'm going to
us.
watch Frankie on us. And Eamon's whole thing was like, okay, well, maybe I think everyone knows, but Eamon's nightmare is all of his best friends hanging out without him, and he has to hang out with just me. So Kara's telling him this, and the whole time it's a joke. Like, she's not actually going to do that because she knows Eamon too well. But she tells him at the table in front of everyone. So he's on that side of the table going, thanks, Kara.
I wish I had it on camera.
So
The
painful.
energy he is shooting at me is, get me out of this, get me out of this. Tell them
I'll
we can
never
I was already,
forget.
yeah, I was already thinking of ways to get out of it.
He
I
was
will never forget your face going, "Aw."
Great.
joke.
Yeah, like where'd you come up with that?
Because that's what I would do for anyone else.
Right.
You like that would be such a gift, I think, for most people. Like,
Yes,
Right.
time with your partner
you
that you
too.
love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So instead of that, Eamon decided, let's all go to this Michelin star restaurant. But I don't think you actually proposed it as Michelin's. I didn't realize that it was actually this
I
fancy.
don't think I knew either.
No, you said it was like the top one of the top restaurants in South America.
I think it was like top 25 restaurants. It was a super
knew it
weird
was
setup.
fancy.
Like we were at an all-inclusive resort, but inside the resort there was one restaurant that you had to like make reservations for and pay extra for.
Yeah.
That said it was top 25 restaurants in
South America.
Central America. Yeah.
But I also thought you were joking to make the joke better that it was like this high end,
Yeah.
the best. So I had no expectation. All 8 of us show up. Amy has dressed us. Eamon's wearing like female clothing. He's got his Crocs on. I walk in with a 3-month-old baby who's kind of screaming, my big stroller, flip-flops. And the woman just looks at us and is like, you can't come in here with the Crocs and the baby and the whatever. She lets us
not
in.
belong here.
Well,
And-
she had made a special 12-course or whatever vegan meal.
Yes.
So the chef has been working all day, and then he sees the baby, and we're like, well, we don't have a babysitter. We don't know anyone else here. And she runs to the back, talks to the chef, which I think you brought it up, but like I feel like I respect like high-end restaurants a lot more after watching Bear.
Yeah.
Like just how much work goes into things. And so they made an exception. Frank's probably the only baby that's ever eaten at that Michelin star restaurant. She was amazing. Very well behaved.
For sure.
You did
And-
have to go change your Crocs.
I
did
have
he?
to-
Oh, I
Yes.
don't remember that
Yeah.
part. Okay.
Which was a little
the
bit
baby was
insulting because they were
allowed?
new Crocs. It's not like it was like
Yeah, they were
dirty
stylish.
Crocs. They were
Yeah.
And
like
they really went with the fit.
clean white. Yeah, I know.
Such a great trip. So much fun to do it and just like not be filming and just be present with one
What
another.
a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Like for all of these YouTubers to be together, no one posted anything. Like it felt so sneaky.
Yeah.
But so good.
Yeah.
And so right.
So now everyone knows. We got
Everyone
together in
knows.
March. It was amazing.
Super cool experience.
Met Lil Frankie for the first time out in the
That's crazy.
sunshine.
Remember when we all did the meditation and Nate watched Frankie and we came up and he's like, that was the hardest hour of my life. Or like, this was way harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, yeah, she's pretty active. She's
So spring break 24. It's happening.
2025.
25.
What year it is again?
When's March?
Let's do
Yeah?
it.
No,
Yeah.
it's got to be a standing thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
1,000,000%.
Yeah,
Okay,
now
cool.
we've given our secret away, so we need a new one.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. And we really do value you so much as friends. You're so inspiring. Just the lengths you go to prioritize our friendship. And, you know, for people that spend most of the time around the world, it's cool that we do get to spend so much time every year with you. And I'm excited for you to join the chaos of parenthood because I think that'll just mean that we're spending even more time together.
I
hope
can't wait to
so.
hit the road as your crew, guys, for your sold out shows, Kara and Eamon.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be so
It's going to be
big.
amazing.
It was
Be
such
there.
an honor to be on here, guys. Honestly.
I'm so glad we made it happen.
Me too.
Where can
Thank
everyone
you.
follow you? Kara, Nate.
Kara
They
and
all-
Nate.
Yeah, they all know who they are.
Okay.
They've seen their videos.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Kara
go
and
get some
Nate,
Daily
Kara and
Drop
Nate.
Plus Pro. Daily Drop Pro. I keep
Yeah.
saying
Nice.
plus.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was less painful than I thought it would
Ah.
be. No, I've been joking. This was great.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
really fun. Thanks,
Y'all are
guys.
the best.
Love you all as friends.
Love y'all.
Awesome.
Love you too.
Peace.
Okay. Wow.
Is that
it's
a
over.
wrap?
It's a wrap. Aw.
Nice work.
Guys, that was so easy. Like, so easy.